Um, is it pronounced Grazant or
Perfect.
okay,
Raisins, perfect.
Grazant? All right. Um, how much time do you have for this interview?
Uh, I'm pretty open. I got dinner arriving, but there's no. I say about an hour. An hour.
Okay, cool. Um, so how did you find out about Sonatex?
I think I joined in roll 20 the group that's part of the 2E group, 1E group that has hundreds of members, and so I think one of your messages came through, put in my email, and applied.
Oh, okay, cool. Um, that's let's see, what's the name of that one?
It is the what is it? You can look it up.
Into the Welcome Winch.
Roll 20. Yeah, let's see. So, Bray, I guess you're a member of that very large. It's like hundreds of people inside the group, and it's for all those
Yeah.
who are looking for games and all that.
Into the Welcome Winch, right?
Look at it. Get the name of it.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Uh, let's see. So if the campaign is what you're looking for, how long do you plan on staying in it? Like, is it are you looking to play like seasonally until the holidays, and then kind of have a hiatus, or would you be playing every week for years, or how does that go?
I'm pretty much open. So it's for one thing, I've never played and I've been playing this for quite some time. I have never taken a character from level 1 to level 30.
Mm.
So kind of knowing how the numbers work and number crunching, that's quite a long commitment over the years.
Yeah, yeah, it
So
takes.
I'm game just because I like, you know, get friends, you guys hang out, you guys do it, you guys know each other's characters. So it's something that I kind of like that style because it's more conducive of what a tabletop would be like as considered roll 20. Because roll 20, you got people coming in and out, and sometimes group synergy gets a little kludgy.
Yeah,
Um, and so unless everybody has stellar personalities and no proclivities to be crazy,
yeah,
roll 20 can be challenging, you know?
yeah. Everybody in this group is like 40 years old plus. They're both professionals. One of them is like the manager of a factory in one of the southern states. I forget where she's from. And
Mm-hmm.
the other is, I think he's like a computer programmer for like
Yeah,
Best Buy or something like that. Like maybe on the Nerd Squad or, but
sure.
I think he's like a higher echelon than one location. Like
Yeah.
he's way up there on the food chain. Um, so yeah, everybody's pretty I guess set in their ways and mellow as far as
Good.
as far as that goes. And then both of them have a lot of experience with second edition, going all the way back to like the 1980s or 90s. So
I would fit right in. That sounds about my resume.
that's good.
IT guy over 20 something years.
Yeah, awesome.
Worked for Disney, worked for all the big ones, and so yeah, that's kind of right up the same alley.
Good, good. That's Michael. You'll meet him Sunday if everything goes well.
Well, I'm gonna have to decline not to play then. That
Uh,
there can only be one Michael in the group. I'm
uh,
sorry.
you're a Michael as well. Okay. um, would
Force them to change the name.
would you go by Mike or Mikey?
Oh no, I just go by Gray. That's a lot easier.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. And then the other player is Amber. She's
Okay.
I think she's around my age. I'm 41, and I think she's like 39 or 40. She might be
Gotcha.
40. Um, so everybody is
Mature.
mature. Yeah. Um, okay. How does your headset or microphone connect with your computer? Is it wireless or wired?
Wireless. On an iPad
Wireless.
right now.
You're an iPad. Okay. Is that
Yep.
the hardware that you'd be using to play the game?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
An iPad. All right. Do you play on Roll 20 with an iPad often?
I do. I've played it for quite some time, so I've tweaked it to where it can work pretty well.
Okay. Do you know how to make the tokens open up the ruler function so you can leave
Of course.
waypoints? Okay, so you can
Of
do all
course.
that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Um, so it's wireless. And then, if you don't mind me asking, how does your computer connect with your router? Is it also wireless?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm an IT guy, so
Yeah.
everything for me, I go back so I have, if you know anything about computers, I have OpenBSD in my office. So I have
Okay.
Linux OpenBSD. So
So your wireless is in the same room that you play.
yeah, so
Awesome.
there there's no reason if there is an issue, it's fixed within seconds unless the lights are not out in the street. I can't fix that.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. And then I'm assuming your router goes straight to your modem and straight to like the wall with like a cable.
RJ40 right to the wall. Yep,
Okay, so
yep,
you've got a landline connection. That's good.
exactly.
I've had issues where people used either satellite or back in the day Clearwire, which is cell phone
Ew,
technology, and there'd be like it would rain, and they wouldn't be able to play that day, and everybody would be kind of stuck twiddling their thumbs, and we'd do like a one shot or something, because
rain face.
yeah,
Nah, I know exactly what that is. That's
yeah,
funny. No,
um,
I've been playing with this particular setup for quite some time.
cool,
Uh, so since I actually been on Roll 20, which is I think 2014. So
yeah,
yeah,
okay,
got all
and
the
your ISP, of course, is Groundline, so we've got that covered. Um, so here's a dumb question. We've already covered this, but have you played D&D before, like second edition?
I have.
Okay. What's your? Was it like you started buying the books as soon as it launched in 1989, and you were trading in your first edition books, or did you start playing with second edition after it launched? How does that go?
Real quick, my next football player, my next door neighbor was my best friend, consummate nerd, read comic. He got me turned me on to comic books. Invited me. He says, "Hey, Michael, come after football practice. Come to this class in school. After class, I'm like, sure, why not? So because what we used to do is get together and always tell stories. So he has like four brothers, and we get together and we would just tell this stories. And then he got into this is first edition, man. He goes, hey, roll these dice. Like, man, what am I doing here? So I rolled dice and basically have not looked back since. So basically, you could call me. I was a closet, if I could be a quote unquote a closet D&D guy,
Yeah.
all throughout school and in college. So I'm into martial arts, all those kind of things. But I come from old school role playing. I come from old school of just having fun, thinking outside the box. So I've been doing it since 1E. My first book's the 1E at the bookstore. Went to college, been playing 2E, went to 3, 3, 5, 4, D&D Beyond. No, it was called D&D before 5E came out. And they had that interim between 4E and 5E,
Right.
and then went to 5E. So now actually I've come back because I'm somewhat exhausted of 5E at this point in time. And I have particular reasons for that.
What
But
What are those reasons, if you don't mind me asking?
sure. I think I hinted to you in what I wrote about, well, maybe I didn't, is that what I'm noticing that what 5e does is it compels, well, this is how you should create your background. You should roll for this. You should do for this. So things, because what had happened is when 4 came out, where everything became like an MMO, and so people were playing it like such, trying to get the new players into it.
Right.
And then they began to realize, well, man, this is not really what this is. Far away from what 1E or 2E used to be, a D&D used to be. Let's go back to 5E with the roots. But then they still coaxed it to where it kind of it's too much of a handholding. It's too much of a feat where again you play these very epic characters, and to me you siphon out the danger. I remember rolling characters where you get bit by a rat, you're dead. I
Oh wow.
remember characters where I play 1E. If you made a stupid mistake, there was no feat that can help you, and there was no recourse. You're just, and if it's a dumb mistake, the character dies, and then you have to roll another character.
Mm.
I think that level of expediency, that level of fear, that level not fear, but level of danger for your character survival has been lessened because you're so overpowered.
Right.
And so that's one of my biggest problems with 5e is that your power curve is to me is off. So for example, I can do 60, 80 points of damage at level 5. I have another 2e game on level 7 and I do 19.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and because the monsters and everything is balanced toward that, where in 5e it's just an inverted curve as far as the power level is concerned. And so because of that fact, I have less enjoyment because I don't have to think as much. Well, I still do, but I think more in 2e than I do in 5e.
Okay. So just a little bit of background to go along with what you're saying about, danger. The party's been in the current dungeon for probably six, I'd say 6 sessions.
Okay.
And in that time, one player character has died,
Nice.
and one henchman has died.
Wow. Okay.
Another henchman has been level drained to death.
Ouch.
And I think about 3 or 4 other characters have dropped to hovering on death's door. So
Wow.
in in second edition, there's an optional rule called hovering on death's door, which I'm sure you're familiar with. It's
Yeah.
anytime you drop to 0 or below, you start bleeding out. One
Yep.
hit point per round until you get to -10, you die.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Uh, so that mechanic is kind of a spellcaster's bane because whenever that happens, you lose all of your memorized spells, whether you're a priest or a wizard, it doesn't matter. You lose all your memorized spells, like all your slots are wiped clean. And then, you can be brought back to consciousness with any kind of cure spell, but it only gives you 1 hit point, and you're stuck at 1 hit point for 24 hours unless a heal spell is used. Heal
Right.
heal maxes you out to full health, but you still don't have your spells. So there's been like 3 or 4 spellcasters that have had all their spells wiped so far because of that
Ouch.
mechanic. So that can be pretty dangerous for a party, especially if it's a healer that goes
Wow.
down and loses all their spells. So
Now, can that be circumvented by having a spell book?
so what you can do with your spell book is once you recover and are able to be healed past one health, that is at least 24 hours after someone gives you a cure spell, then
Yep.
you can read your spell book and rememorize your spells.
Right. 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 It's not a permanent thing. Yeah, because I never really played. I never played a mage in 2e. Always been a frontline fighter, and I'm thinking about going for something new.
Okay. Okay. Currently, the player characters are one single class thief, and one single class monk.
Okay.
So, and then the main healer is one of the thief's henchmen. And the monk currently has no henchmen. So, um, there's only, I think, one one mage in the party, and it's a henchman, and he is multi-classed. The other mage also was multi-classed, but he's currently dead. So he's one of the characters that died.
So, if I may ask, how does it work? So, obviously, you have your main character and you have henchmen. So, you control multiple characters. Is that kind of how you're?
Yeah. So every player character has a charisma score. Your charisma score determines not only how many henchmen you can have in your lifetime, but how easy it is for you to make friends with NPCs for them to become your henchmen. Because
Right.
I use mechanical roles once certain criteria are met. Um, when you want to recruit a character as a henchman,
Okay.
and it's a pass or fail. Like if I get a result of friendly on the table, then they'll become your friend, and you can basically use them as your henchman from that point on.
Nice.
You gain control of their character sheet. You take care of their experience points. You know, you record their experience points. You record their health.
Hmm.
Whenever they're injured, you record their spells, their treasure, everything. They um, Henchmen demand an equal share of your gold,
Okay.
your money. So all if they don't get it, if they find out you're cheating them or they don't get it, they will probably you know have something to say about it, and there could be disaster depending on their alignment and your alignment and all that stuff. So um,
Right.
henchmen don't like to be cheated. I've never had a player cheat their own henchman before, so I haven't really had to deal with that. But when it comes to money, yeah, they want equal share. Any kind of treasure, they want equal share. If there's magic that they can use, they'll at least put a stake in it, and try to claim it. Um, for the most part, I mean, we don't have any roles for claiming treasure. For the most part, it's either who claims it first or who needs it the most, depending on how the party feels, or who can fight for it the hardest. I've never had that happen, but actually, yes, I have in an evil group. Uh, so the party just kind of decides how treasure is divvied up. Usually, the money is divided equally, and you divide that equally among all of your characters or whatever. And then, yeah, treasure is it's kind of touch and go because obviously some classes can use things better than others,
Okay.
and some characters can use things better than others too, depending on their
Okay.
stats.
All right.
But your maximum number of henchmen score is a finite number. That's how many henchmen your character can have in their lifetime. Um, Recruiting henchmen is up to you. If there is a character that you like, you try to befriend them and whatnot. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you got to wait at least till you gain a level to try again, or to be successful. That is. And then um, you you decide, what your henchmen do, and when and whether or not you recruit henchmen. Some classes gain followers.
Yep.
Um, Unless you're a fighter, if you are a class that has followers, I only allow one follower to accompany you on an adventure because I use them as essentially quest givers for the most part. But some you'll see if you ever gain followers, some are more talented than others. So and you can they level up too for the most part, unless you're a fighter and you have like zeroth level. soldiers or whatever. So fighters, uh, they have the choice of either bringing their commander along with them or their group of bodyguards. Every fighter at name level, when they become a lord, they actually have a contingent of bodyguards, and because they become like a a lesser noble essentially, and it's like probably about ten characters that um, are your bodyguards, and I think they usually start around level 1 or level 2, depending on what I roll on the table. And they might come with magic items, they might not. Um, but I'll create those characters and give them to you, and then from then on, you do what you will with them. So,
Sounds good.
and then anyone can hire hirelings. I do set a limit though. No more. It's So there's three categories of NPCs that you can control. Your henchmen. You can have as many henchmen as you can recruit at one time in your party. Like if your maximum number of henchmen is 17, you could have 17 henchmen in your party if you want. That's all up to you. You're probably gonna go poor if you do that, but
Yeah.
uh, henchmen are like your main source of where your money goes because of that, because they demand as much money as you make. Like they want literally your share is their share as well. So if you have three henchmen, you're dividing your money in four.
Right.
One share for you, and three shares for you three henchmen. And then I allow one follower, or if you're a fighter, you could take your commander with you or your bodyguards. So bodyguards, there could be a lot of characters. So and then um, hirelings, which are just NPCs that are zeroth level that you meet along the way in town or whatever, like an engineer or um, a a peddler, or like a merchant or something. You can hire them, but no more zeroth level characters than you have levels. So if you're level 1, you can only hire one zeroth level character. If you're level 10, you can hire 10 of them. And that's pretty much it. And there are other limits for other things like that require magic. Like if you create undead, there's limits to that too, but it's limited by the spell. Like the spell description will describe, like for example, undead. You can only have as many hit dice of undead as you have hit dice. So
Gotcha.
if you're level 10, and it doesn't matter what spell you use to create them, you can only have if you're level 10, you can only have 10 hit dice of undead in your group. Animal companions, if you use the animal friendship spell, it's like a animal sphere priest spell, like for druids
Mhm.
and rangers, you probably have it too. Um, your number of hit dice is doubled. So if you're level 10, you can have 20 hit dice worth of um, pets that are magically under your control.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and then illusions are the same as the rule for undead. You can only control, like 10 hit dice of illusionary creatures if you're level 10, and so on and so forth. And that's pretty much, as far as I know, that's all the NPC categories that you can control. Pets,
Cool.
illusions. Oh, summons are determined by the summon spell, so they're sort of like an outside of the rules category. They go as far as many summon spells you have. So if you cast Monster Summoning 1 and you end up rolling, like 20 Sturges, and then the next round you cast Monster Summoning 2 and summon 15 orcs, they're still under your control. It's just for the duration of the spell.
Right. Right.
So hopefully that answers any questions about characters that you can control.
Perfect.
I
Very.
realize I realize most DMs usually only allow one henchman at a time.
Yeah.
But I allow as many as you want at a time because it's a great way of draining money. And
Yeah.
as a dungeon master, that's one of the things I'm supposed to do is drain money. So either by selling you stuff or um, if there's like a randomly encountered thief, maybe pick somebody's pockets, that and the other.
Right.
So
Right.
okay,
The good old.
yeah. Okay, so that's your. Have you played D&D before? Have you used Roll20 before? How much experience with Roll20 do you have?
Okay, hold on. Let me. So just so that I can answer that question correctly, how many hours? In 2014. Forgot how many games I have. Like I'm not sure if I'm in the thousands, but I'm definitely in the hundreds of hours.
Oh, hours. Okay. Are you able
Yeah.
to like write macros and API and stuff like that?
Not that extensive.
Okay.
I can't computerize. Computerize. I can write code. What the heck?
Mm,
But I've never decided to write API before.
okay. Um, have you DM'd on Roll20 before?
I have not DM'd. I'll maybe be honest with you. I have not DM'd.
Okay. Have you ever DM'd in a face-to-face game?
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Probably many times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. So you've been on Roll20 since 2014. You said.
I think that's where my date is. 2014. What's my
Okay.
preference? Profile. Does it tell me my profile?
I think it does.
Messages.
that's
Top first.
that's the same year I started. It's 2014. I went on hiatus until 2015 though. I kind of made an account, opened up
Yeah.
a opened up a campaign, kind of doodled around a little bit, and put it on the shelf for a while.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. Definitely like Roll20. This definitely has been because I choose to travel a lot, and so I could be in a hotel when I'm consulting, and I can just fire up Roll20. I'm in.
Cool. All right. And then, okay, so you said you had an idea of what kind of character you wanted to make. What kind of character is that?
So thematically, you know what a Moor is?
More? Yeah. So you're talking about a northern African tribal person who like invaded Spain and
Yes.
okay.
Very correct. So basically, thinking about possibly a because I looked up Mystic. I think because it looked like there's like a Mystic toolkit, a kit, and so basically a thief rogue, not thief rogue, or a mage thief, but his background is he's this sophisticated, intelligent Moor from like an unknown land, and he has his own particular peculiarities, what he eats, how he eats, and but under behind that, either he's going to be a spy or an assassin. So he's going to be, but up front, he seems like just a very well dressed, well mannered, somewhat and very educated. But there's definitely some seediness behind it because of some of the orders that being of an order of the Moorish order.
Mm,
So maybe like a secret society or something, a sort of assassins, infiltrators, scout. So that's kind of the theme of it. Because what I've been noticing when I've been playing 2E, even though I play a fighter, I'm always he's talking about playing a character that you always want to play.
yep.
What that means, how I interpret it is what character fits how I normally play the game. So I kind of changed it up a little bit because I've always played a paladin. That was my first character for 2E. Loved it. Had a great time. Always played a fighter, but being out older, I'm thinking like I'm always a guy going, okay, what about that door? Okay, what about the ceiling? What's on the ceiling? What does that ruin me? Okay, if I step over here, what consequences? So that's how I'm playing the game now. But I've never played a thief because I always thought them to be weak. But now I'm embracing that weakness because the way that I play my character is one is always trying to think. So as much as the dungeon is trying to kill you, he's trying to defeat the dungeon. So that's kind of what his pride is in. Is he able to conquer all the mysteries, all the traps, all the gotchas, all of the things that a person who would create a dungeon to protect something, he prides himself to be able to dismantle that and get to the prize.
Okay. So he is a human thief with the
Mage,
assassin
Mage
kit.
Thief, correct.
Okay. So humans, in second edition, they don't multi-class, but what they can do is dual class. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am. So, okay, so most likely, if then I probably would have to be, and I'm not sure if you have any restrictions, then I'll probably be like a half elf or an elf in that situation, like a
Uh,
dark elf. Like
yeah.
that. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
familiar
that's
with
fine.
that.
Yeah. I have no uh, restrictions on race or class, other than um, no races or classes that are unique to Forgotten Realms,
Okay.
or to Dark Sun, or to basically any campaign other than Spelljammer and Planescape.
Okay.
So there are a lot of races that are unique to Spelljammer and Planescape that I allow because, um, in my opinion, Spelljammer and Planescape are integral to basic second edition D&D sandbox homebrew.
Hmm. Okay.
Like they have to be part of the game because there are so many spells and magic items that take you to other planes of existence, other planets, etc., etc., etc. So you kind of have to have those two campaigns built in to any homebrew, in my opinion.
Okay.
That and I think that psionics are integral to regular D&D second edition because there are so many monsters that
Yeah,
use
because it's like,
psionics.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you have to roll? Do you require that be able to roll with a D100,
Oh, you're talking about to become a wild talent?
or just psionics? 'Cause I think isn't there? It depends on how do you play your psionics. Because I read some rules where you have to roll for it.
Okay, so
Um,
that's called a wild talent. That's
okay.
a random person who has like one random psionic power and like maybe
Right.
one or two psionic defenses and one or two psionic attacks.
Okay.
They're basically like an extremely weak version of the Psionicist class.
So okay, that would be highly interested in that more than magic. He would be now. Could he be a rogue slash Cyanus class? Is that possible?
Let's see. I'm pretty sure that the Psionicist class. Let's see. Skills powers. Sonics.
You look that up.
Okay. So that's in the player's option, the skills and powers book. I don't use the old version of Psionics. I use the new version, which came out with the player's option set of books.
Okay.
And it simplifies psionics to basically you only have one power score instead of like three different ones, and it's called mental thaco. It's literally
Hmm.
a thaco score that goes up one per level, just as though you were a fighter of the mind.
Nice. Yes, correct. That would now that would be something to be very cool.
Yep. Let's see.
That would
Psionist
be.
wild talents.
Let's see. So I'm looking. Actually, I found the complete Psionics handbook.
Yeah, scratch that. We don't use it. We use player's options, skills, and powers. And that has the new psionics rules.
Oh,
Let's see. Multiclass Psionicist, a human character who has scores of 15 or more in the prime requisites of his first class and scores of 17 or more in the prime requisites of the class he switches to, can be a dual classed psionicist.
so only a dual class, not multi-class. Looks like.
Um, if you're a human. If you are, let's see, demi-human characters can be multi-class psionicists if they meet the requirements in the player's handbook.
Okay.
So you could be, an elf multi-class
Yes.
psionicist, half elf multi-class, dwarf
Per-
multi-class. Um,
Do you have that link, by the way, that you're reading?
yep. Let's see.
That'd be perfect.
All right. So there's purpleworm.org. It is a database of books rather
Yep.
than a PDF.
Yep.
So that makes it super easy to find everything. If you click on index, you'll see an alphabetical listing of
Yeah.
every single blurb
Nice.
from all of those books on the list. So
Nice.
this is not a complete list of books by any means. For example, the complete book of humanoids is not on here. The complete ninja's handbook is not on here, and I used both those books in this campaign.
Mm,
So you can be humanoids in this campaign. You can be undead in this campaign. You can be
right.
dragons. You can be celestials. You can be a tiefling. Any of the races from Planescape. You could be a GIF if you want, the hippo people from uh, Spelljammer.
Sure.
There's all kinds of neat races from
And
those.
for the science, which book is this science is in? Is that in the
Skills and powers. It's near the bottom.
gotcha
So
skills
the
and
red set. Yeah.
yep. Psionics, Chapter 9, School of Magic.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So skills and powers. Yep. Chapter 9. Oh.
Yep,
Yeah.
Chapter 9.
Chapter 9, and then psionicists, and you go down to the psionicist class, and it tells you the
Yep,
requirements: con 11, intelligence 12, wisdom 15, prime requisites wisdom and con, races allowed any, and you can be multi-class.
perfect. Psionicist. Wisdom Constitution tells you da. Alignment. Perfect. I'm liking it. Thaco and Mthaco, respectively. Cool. Okay, I think that would be very cool. So basically, a thief with interesting mental powers.
Yeah. And the way psionicist class works is essentially at um, level 1 you choose one discipline. There's clairsentience, psychokinesis, psychometabolism, psychoportation, and telepathy, and that discipline becomes basically your speciality. and you can never have more sciences and devotions in any other discipline than that main discipline. So that's the only requirement, other than some sciences and devotions require prerequisites and prerequisite levels in some
Yeah,
cases.
I'll definitely go through the reading of it, and I'll read it thoroughly.
Okay.
So that's I will go it in much detail. Psionics, using psionics, close open mind, mental armor class. Oh, okay, perfect. That. Very cool.
And as far
So
as
that would
I'm
be
concerned, you have made it into the Order of the Superior Star, which is the player character group in Solid Hex. I'll send
oh
you the
nice man.
link. I'll send you the
Thanks.
link to the campaign. Well, the link to the Discord first of all.
Sure. Is everybody still at level one, or are they are higher level?
Some people. Well, the thief is like level 12, I think, and
Oh,
the monk is level 8, and they both started at level 1 when there were other people that were levels, 10, 11, 12, and those other people have since left and they have advanced to the highest level characters. So,
gotcha. So my character will start at level one. Is that correct?
yes, and you'll
No.
probably gain levels extremely fast for probably the first 5 sessions or so. You probably gain a level once per session.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, and I do use the Gygaxian rule of you can only gain 1 level per session. If
Gotcha.
you gain enough experience points for you to gain 2 levels, you stop at 1 experience point before the second level, and the rest is overload experience that goes off into oblivion.
God, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a good problem to have, and eventually you won't have that problem because the requirement to gain a level for you will be so high that it'll take dozens of sessions to gain a level. But
Right.
the first 5 or 6 levels are pretty quick.
Okay. Perfect.
For example, the monk has been with us for like 3 months, something like that, and he's almost level 9.
Nice. Okay. Nice.
So yeah, pretty quick advancement.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So I'll definitely. So when so you roll a ND6. So you have version 5 of the rolling, correct? Of your
Yeah,
stat.
yeah. We'll take care of that tomorrow if you have time to create a character.
I do.
Because you said you only had about an hour,
Yeah.
and we're about 10 minutes away from that hour point.
Yeah. It is. It's like dinner's here, so they
Yeah.
just drove. So
I'm gonna
okay.
send you a private message with the Discord link
Okay.
in it. So this is the link to our Orb of Solid Hex game Discord. That's the one that we speak in while we actually play. And
Sure.
I'm also going to go into the. Oh, I'll give you a link to. That's right. I'll give you a link to the application forum. If you could just write like something really quick, like I'm just typing here because I need to write here to be invited. I like to invite people directly from the applications forum because it's convenient. There's a button.
Okay. I thought I did
Uh,
put it in the application, or was that a different application? Because
oh,
I respond.
okay, yeah, okay, yeah. I forgot about that. You did. Okay,
Yeah.
1 second. Yep. Okay, there it is. Invite to game. Bam. All right. So, is there a particular time tomorrow that you'd be available to?
I'm pretty much open. Just my Saturdays are pretty open. I'm just studying. So if you say, hey, I'm ready, I will most likely be very probably near my computer.
Okay. I'll probably wake up somewhere around like 10 a.m. Pacific, 1
Okay.
p.m. Eastern time, and I'll probably get up and have something to eat and
Sure.
uh, maybe watch a movie or something while I eat, and then maybe an hour or two later get online.
About noon.
So
Okay.
probably about
Noon.
yeah
Okay. That's a good
yeah
point.
noon
What's
Pacific.
the time frame or time zone for everybody thus far? I'm West Coast.
Yeah, I'm in the Seattle area, so I'm Pacific. Amber, I think, is Central Time.
Okay.
Actually, I think they're both Central Time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Amber
So
and
everybody's at least in the United States. Nobody's from London or something or
yeah,
Australia.
yeah. Usually, any further east of um, Zulu is kind of an issue when it
Yeah.
comes to time. So I've had players in like Spain and Portugal, and one from Greece, and even for them, it was rough because sometimes we'd play a little beyond our time limit, and it would be like by then it'd be like midnight or 1 in the morning for them. So, but we usually play. Um, our actual play time is 10 a.m. Pacific until about 3 p.m. And lately we've been going overtime by like 1 or 2 hours, or until someone has to leave.
Sure, no problem. And that's
So
it. This is every Sunday.
every Sunday,
Perfect. All right.
five to pretty much minimum 5 hours, unless someone has to like leave early that day.
I like it.
We'll try to talk about it before the session starts. Usually, if someone has to leave early, and then people kind of give notice if they're going to be late or if they're going to miss the session. Usually, like the day before. Sometimes things happen and people won't know that they're going to be late until the day of. But usually, we
Right.
get notice before the session starts. Usually.
Perfect. Okay, so right now there's three of us, and so you're gonna grow to eight or people
Um,
total?
Yeah, hopefully 8. I can support up to 12.
Wow.
If which I've done before. If if not everyone has like 3 or 4 henchmen, it's pretty easy to do that. Um, Usually, of course, the highest level person has the most henchmen, the most treasure, and the most spells because they've been playing the longest. And younger characters are like just kind of trying to catch up. Like right now, the monk is trying to catch up to the thief.
Right.
He's
Of course.
so, and I think he's had a couple opportunities to uh, recruit henchmen, but either the henchman was like higher level than him, or he just didn't make the roll. So he currently doesn't have any henchmen. I think
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
think he's being kind of picky about who he henches, which is I think a good thing. 'Cause if you're not picky, you're probably gonna be disappointed, you know, eventually.
Sure. Okay. All right. So how about we circle back tomorrow in the afternoon, and then
Yeah,
we can roll.
yeah, sometime noon or after that, and uh, I get notifications on my phone. If you want to just direct message me in the Solnod Hex Discord and say, hey, I'm ready to go when you are.
Sure.
I'll get that on my phone too.
All right. Cool. I just joined the Discord, so I'm there.
Nice.
All righty. All
Uh,
right. So how would you like to be addressed?
you can just call me
Then me
Josh
and
if you want.
Josh. Okay. Perfect, Josh.
Josh. Yeah. If you feel comfortable calling me DM rather than Josh, you can call me DM or um, dude or hey you or I've
There,
yeah, I've got a lot of names.
I like it. All right, cool. Hey, I do have a run. Dinner's on the table.
Okie doke.
Uh, so we'll talk tomorrow, Josh.
Yep. All right. Have a good
Okay,
one, Mike.
you as well.
Bye bye.